Most people confuse pain with punishment. They think that if they're struggling, it means they did something wrong. If things aren't going smoothly, they must be on the wrong path. But that's a lie that comfort wants you to believe. Because pain isn't here to destroy you. It's here to prepare you. It's a test. It's a training ground. It's life's way of saying, let's see how serious you are. See, there's no elevation without resistance. Every level you want to rise to comes with pressure. And that pressure doesn't come to break you. It comes to build you, to strip away the weak parts of you, the doubts, the excuses, the laziness. It comes to expose what you've been hiding from, what you've been avoiding, and what you must face before you're ready for what's next. The pain you feel on your journey isn't random. It's calculated. It's targeted. It's showing up in the exact areas where you need to grow. If you're facing disappointment right now, maybe it's because you've built too much of your identity around approval. If you're feeling frustrated, maybe it's because you've been moving too fast without learning the lesson life is trying to teach you. If you're exhausted, maybe you're finally giving everything you've got instead of holding back. And that's progress. Don't run from that pain. Don't label it as a punishment. Realize it's a wake-up call. It's the preparation for what's coming next. When a warrior goes to battle, they don't step in untested. They've trained. They've sweat. They've bled. And it's that preparation, not the armor, that keeps them alive. You want to lead. You want to win. You want to rise above average. Then you've got to be prepared. And pain is the process that gets you there. You can't expect to be strong if you've never been stretched. You can't expect to have wisdom if you've never been wounded. You can't expect to lead others through storms if you've never stood through one yourself. That pain is not life punishing you. It's life investing in you. It's setting the foundation for the strength, clarity, and power that you're going to need when the spotlight hits, when the stakes rise, when the pressure's real. Because anyone can smile when everything's going their way. But can you stay focused when everything's falling apart? Can you keep walking when the world says stop? Can you find your purpose in the pain? That's what preparation is. That's the difference between people who fold and people who forge forward. They don't see the pain as a wall. They see it as a doorway. They don't cry, why me? They whisper, try me. Pain reveals your real intentions. If you're only chasing comfort, pain will scare you off the path. But if you're chasing greatness, pain will make you sharper. It will cut through the noise. It will separate you from the pack. You'll start realizing that not everyone is willing to go through what you're going through. Not everyone has the guts to take hits and keep moving. Not everyone's willing to feel that fire and still keep showing up. When you understand that pain is preparation, your perspective changes. You stop asking for the easy route. You stop begging for the shortcut. You stop idolizing the fast lane and start respecting the grind. You start embracing the moments that hurt because you know those are the moments shaping the version of you that's capable, resilient, unshakable. The version of you that doesn't need the conditions be perfect to perform. The version of you that's not intimidated by the storm because you were trained in it. Pain is part of the process, but it is not the end. It's not a signal to quit. It's a sign to dig deeper, to push harder, to level up. Because every time you endure, you evolve. And every time you rise after falling, you're not just recovering. You're rebuilding something stronger, something wiser, something unstoppable. Comfort is a liar. It tells you are fine where you are. It convinces you that you've done enough. It whispers in your ear, take it easy. and pats you on the back while stealing your potential. Comfort feels good in the moment. That's its trap. It seduces you into staying still, but nothing alive grows without movement. You weren't made to settle, and deep down, you know that. Growth doesn't live inside your familiar routine. It doesn't hang around the places where everything is predictable, smooth, and easy. Growth lives in the uncertainty, in the awkward moments, in the chaos you don't want to step into. It hides in hard conversations. It shows up in late nights full of doubt. It speaks in silence when no one is cheering you on. That's where growth breathes, far from the boundaries of your comfort zone. If you're serious about becoming more, you have to do what most people avoid. You have to confront the unknown. You have to make decisions without guarantees. You have to bet on yourself when the odds don't look pretty. Because inside your comfort zone, everything is controlled, but nothing changes. And if nothing changes, you remain the same. That's not growth. That's stagnation disguised as safety. The truth is, your comfort zone might feel like a warm blanket, but it's a prison made of fear. Every time you choose it over progress, the walls get tighter. You stop trying new things. You stop taking risks. You stop dreaming big. You start shrinking your life to fit what feels manageable. But growth doesn't care about manageable. Growth demands more. It stretches you. It pushes you. It drags you into rooms where you feel out of place and says, good, now learn how to belong here. Discomfort is the signal that you're expanding. When you're scared, uncertain, and unsure, that's when the work begins. That's when your muscles start to form mentally, emotionally, spiritually. Every time you step beyond the line of what's familiar, you gain something you didn't have before. A skill, a lesson, a deeper layer of grit. You don't find that within your habits. You find it by doing the thing you said you couldn't do. Ask yourself this: when was the last time you did something for the first time? When was the last time you leaned into a situation that made you nervous? If it's been a while, then chances are you've been living too safe, too small. You've been mistaking ease for progress. But comfort doesn't create champions. Pressure does. Discomfort does. Struggle does. That's what builds people who can lead, who can inspire, who can leave a legacy. Every level of life is guarded by a test. The test is this: will you keep going when it's uncomfortable? Because the moment you commit to growth, life will push back. You'll lose things. You'll face rejection. You'll outgrow relationships, jobs, old versions of yourself. And yes, that hurts. But you cannot rise while clinging to what no longer fits. Growth costs something. It costs the illusion of security. It costs routine. It costs predictability. But what you get in return is far greater. You get freedom. Freedom to evolve. Freedom to expand your capacity. Freedom to do things you once thought were impossible. Because once you've trained yourself to thrive outside your comfort zone, you become a different breed. You don't wait for the perfect moment. You create it. You don't need the environment to be right. You adapt. You become unshakable because you've trained in the fire, you've walked through the discomfort, and came out stronger on the other side. People talk about wanting more. More income, more impact, more meaning. But the moment discomfort shows up, they retreat. They go back to what feels good. They put off the hard decisions. They delay the difficult conversations. They avoid the risks. And what they don't realize is that every time they run back to comfort, they run further from the person they could become. Growth only begins when the excuses end. When you decide to lean into the discomfort instead of dodging it. When you stop hoping it gets easier and start choosing to get stronger. There's a wall that stands between where you are and where you want to be. It's not made of bricks or steel. It's built from fear, doubt, fatigue, and pain. And most people, when they reach that wall, stop. They call it a sign. They say, maybe it wasn't meant to be. But that wall isn't there to stop you. It's there to test you. Because on the other side of that suffering, that pressure, that trial, is your breakthrough. You don't become unstoppable by skipping the struggle. You don't discover your full power by avoiding the pain. Breakthrough only comes when you keep moving, keep fighting, keep breathing through the moments that threaten to break you. Most people want transformation without tension, but that's not how this works. Change comes with a cost. The cost is pain. The cost is pressure. And the reward is power. The suffering you're facing right now, whether it's physical, emotional, or mental, is not just some random hardship. It's a forge. It's refining you. It's burning off the old mindset, the small thinking, the fear-based habits. It's painful, yes, but it's purposeful. And if you have the strength to endure it, not run from it, you'll step into a version of yourself that most people will never meet. Because most people quit too soon. They stop before the shift happens. They settle for survival and never touch their potential. You have to understand something. The storm isn't here to destroy you. It's here to develop you. And that development won't always feel good. You'll have days where everything in you wants to give up. You'll feel alone. You'll question your path. You'll wonder if it's even worth it. And those are the moments when you are closest to your breakthrough. That's when the transformation is right around the corner. But you won't see it if you stop moving. You won't reach it if you give in to the suffering. There is no shortcut to becoming who you're meant to be. The price is pain, and the payment is persistence. You've got to go through what others avoid. You've got to keep showing up when the feeling is gone. You've got to walk into the fire and stay there long enough to be changed by it. That's the path to breakthrough. Not around the suffering, but straight through it. Your breaking point is also your turning point. The moment when you feel like you can't take another step is the exact moment when you must. That next step, the one that feels impossible, is the one that moves the mountain. But you won't know that if you turn back. You won't know what you're capable of if you only operate in comfort. Breakthrough isn't polite. It doesn't come knocking at your door with a smile. It comes through resistance. It comes when you're tired, when you're weeping in silence, when you're questioning everything, and you choose to rise anyway. What's standing between you and your next level isn't talent. It's not resources. It's not timing. It's your threshold for pain. How much are you willing to suffer for what you believe in? How deep are you willing to dig when everything around you says stop? Because suffering is the bridge you want to get to the other side. The side of power, peace, clarity, purpose. That bridge is made of everything you don't want to feel. Fear, rejection, isolation, fatigue. But if you can endure it, if you can hold the line when it feels like it's all falling apart, you will come out the other side unrecognizable. The breakthrough you're chasing isn't just about reaching a goal. It's about becoming the person who no longer runs from the fire. The person who uses the fire. Who turns the pressure into fuel? Who takes the pain and says, this won't stop me. This will shape me. That's where the real power lies. Not in avoiding suffering, but in mastering it. There's a lie that whispers to you when life gets hard. It says, oh, just walk away. Just quit. If you give up, the pain will stop. That's the trap. That's the illusion. Quitting promises relief, but it never delivers freedom. It just replaces your current struggle with something far heavier. Because while effort brings pain, quitting brings regret. And regret doesn't go away when you sleep. It doesn't fade with time. It lingers. It haunts. It asks, what if? For the rest of your life, you can feel the weight of failure. Yes. You can feel the strain of pushing, of grinding, of doing what most people won't. But nothing weighs more than the pain of knowing you could have kept going and chose not to. That's the sting that sits with you when the crowd is gone, when the lights are off, when the moment has passed, and you realize you were just one more try, one more rep, one more step away from something bigger. You weren't defeated by the situation. You were stopped by your decision. See, pain is part of the process no matter what you do. You'll feel it either way. It's not about avoiding pain. It's about choosing which kind you're willing to carry. The pain of progress is temporary. It stretches you, it tests you, it drains you, but it also builds you. You go through it and you come out stronger. But the pain of quitting, that stays. It becomes a shadow that follows you, a story you replay every time you face a challenge. It tells you, this is where you stop again. Some people think quitting is the easy way out, but there's nothing easy about it because you still feel the loss. You still feel the burden of dreams that never lived, of potential you never touched. The moment might feel better when you let go of the pressure, but down the road, when you see others who kept going, that's when it hits. That's when the pain turns into regret. And by then, the opportunity has passed, the door has closed, and all that's left is the echo of what could been. You've got to ask yourself, what am I really avoiding? Is it the physical pain? The emotional exhaustion? The fear of failing? Because all those things are part of the climb. They're part of the cost. But none of them hurt more than looking back and realizing you stopped because it got uncomfortable. You let your current emotion cancel your future evolution. And for what? A moment of ease. A break from the grind. That's not peace. That's postponing greatness. Every time you push through the urge to quit, you build something inside yourself. A new layer of resilience, a new level of belief, a new standard for who you are. Quitting robs you of that. It takes away the chance to see what's on the other side of perseverance. And here's the truth. It's always closer than it feels. Most people give up inches away from the breakthrough, in the towel, not because they're finished, but because they lost sight of what they were fighting for. They gave the pain a louder voice than the purpose. You've got to remember, quitting won't make you whole. It won't restore your peace. It won't bring you relief that lasts. All it does is push the pain deeper into your conscience, where it becomes a weight you carry in silence. It shows up in every opportunity you avoid, every goal you second guess, every time you say, maybe next time, knowing you already had your shot. You don't erase pain by quitting. You multiply it. You spread it over months, years, decades, carrying it like an invisible chain that wraps tighter every time you wish you had tried again. The path is hard, no doubt about it. But so is living with the knowledge that you let a moment of weakness define your entire story. Every time you feel the pull to quit, that's the test. That's the defining moment. That's the fork in the road between the temporary struggle of discipline and the lasting weight of disappointment. You don't escape pain by giving up. You just choose a pain that teaches you nothing, that gives you nothing, that stays with you forever without ever helping you grow. We live in a world obsessed with success. People love the highlight reels, the celebrations, the trophies, and the applause. But what they don't see, what they don't talk about, is where real strength comes from. It's not born in the winds. It's not developed in the spotlight. Strength is forged in the dark places when nobody's watching. It's built in the moments of failure, in the hours of exhaustion, in the fires of pressure that most people run from. Success may be the outcome, but it's not the origin. You don't get strong by avoiding the struggle. You get strong by walking through it, bleeding through it, fighting through it. Every time you fall and get back up, you're building something inside you that can't be measured on a scoreboard. When everything in you says, stop, and you say, not yet, that's when strength is being forged. That's the part they never see. The invisible process, the internal war, the quiet grit. People think strength looks like confidence and power and control. But before it ever looks like that, it feels like fear. It feels like failure. It feels like being flat on your face, humiliated, empty with nothing left to give, and choosing to stand anyway. It's in those moments when your plans fall apart, when your energy is gone, when your hope is hanging by a thread, that your true strength starts to take shape. Not when everything is going right, but when everything is going wrong and you keep going anyway. Fatigue is not a sign that you're weak. It's a sign that you're in the fight, that you're giving all you have, that you're not coasting through life pretending you're trying. Strength comes when your body aches, when your mind screams for rest, when your spirit wavers, and you decide that what you're fighting for means more than how you feel. You learn more about yourself in 1 hour of exhaustion than you ever will in a lifetime of ease. Because fatigue strips away the surface. It shows you who you really are beneath the image. And fire is where strength is refined. Fire burns away the excess. Fire exposes the weak spots. Fire doesn't care how talented you are or what you've done in the past. It tests your why. Fire is where excuses melt, where lies are exposed, where character is revealed. The people who walk through the fire and don't run, they're not the strongest because of their talent. They're the strongest because they stood in the heat long enough to become something new. You've got to understand that the journey to strength is not glamorous. It's not always inspiring. Sometimes it's quiet. Sometimes it's ugly. Sometimes it's just you alone going through something nobody else understands. That's where the forging happens. That's the blacksmith shop of your soul. Pounding, heating, shaping. You want to be unbreakable. Then you have to be willing to be broken. You have to let life bend you without letting it break you. You have to endure failure after failure and still walk forward with your head up. Not because it's easy, but because you know strength doesn't grow in success. It grows in resistance. Real strength isn't loud. It doesn't always shout. Sometimes it whispers, I'll try again tomorrow. Sometimes it crawls when it can't walk. Sometimes it stands still and refuses to fall. But it's always moving forward, always evolving, always refusing to give up. Every setback you've faced, every heartbreak you've endured, every doubt that has crossed your mind, all of it has been part of the fire that is shaping you. And the fire doesn't destroy what's real. It only burns away what's fake. So if you're still standing, still breathing, still believing, then the fire is doing its job. They don't hand out strength. You don't inherit it. You don't wish for it, and you don't fake it. You earn it through failure, through fatigue, through fire, through every hard day that didn't break you, through every time you kept going when you had nothing left, through every scar that tells the story not of someone who had it easy, but someone who refused to be broken. Pain is not the enemy. It's the evidence that you're alive, growing, transforming. Every time you feel it, you're being called to rise, to stretch beyond what you thought was possible. Growth isn't comfortable. It demands that you leave behind the easy road and walk headfirst into the unknown. It doesn't care about your excuses. It responds to your discipline. Your breakthrough doesn't come wrapped in comfort or convenience. It comes wrapped in struggle, wrapped in silence, wrapped in every moment that dares you to quit and watches to see if you will. And when you feel that pressure, when your knees shake and your vision blurs, you must remember quitting won't end the pain. It will only birth regret, and that regret won't fade with time. Strength, real strength, is born in the places no one wants to go. The dark corners of failure, the endless hours of fatigue, the fires that burn but also refine. And if you have the courage to push through it all, through the pain, through the fear, through the breaking, what's waiting for you on the other side is not just success, but a version of yourself you've never seen before, unshakable, undeniable, and unstoppable.